Welcome to CW Courtside Saturday, presented by Allstate. You're in good hands. The Dean Smith Center, Roy Williams Court on the campus of the University of North Carolina. And let's get right to it. Our keys to the game brought to you by Sky Rizzi, Dr. Jaminski.
For LaSalle, transition defense always a big key for visitors here to get back. Makes or misses, North Carolina is going to push the ball at you. And for Carolina, they've got to find some three-point shooting, Tom. Last two home games here, 10 of 52 from behind the arc. That works out for all you math wizards, 19.2%.
Was that a shot at me? Right from the get-go, that's a shot at your partner. R.J. Davis. Fourth all-time leading scorer in the history of this just extraordinary college basketball program. Last season, the ACC's Player of the Year, unanimous first-team selection as an All-American, and he's their leading scorer. But he's had a hard time from downtown, just 17 of 70.
Then he would be the number 2 all-time guard.
Yes.
Here to Mr. Phil Ford. Should be here in attendance today.
Man, was he something to watch back in the early 70s.
Yeah, I watched him from a very close distance for 2 years.
Yes, you did. Tip controlled by the Tar Heels, and here we go. This is Elliot Cadeau, the sophomore out of West Orange, New Jersey. Tar Heels feel very good about where they are on the quote-unquote wings, their guard play, the 1, 2, and 3 positions, but they've got to start getting more offensively up front.
And atypically, though, this team, one of the shortest teams in the country. The 300 in the 300s. As you say, the perimeter very good, but very short along the front line.
Number 2, the man to keep an eye on for the Explorers. As that shot is off the mark, that is Corey McKeithen. He is their leading scorer. He's off to a great start this year. LaSalle has won 6 of its first 10 games. And of course, their legendary head coach. Boy, did we enjoy our time with Fran Dunphy yesterday. When I say 76 years young, I mean 76 years young. There's R.J. Davis from downtown. It's too strong. And the rebound ripped out of there by Andres Marrero, the native of Venezuela.
A couple of good looks for Davis in the first 2 offerings there. And, and we talked to Hubert Davis about it. And, last year, Davis was at the top of the scouting report, but there were a bunch of other guys there with him. This year, he's there by himself. And that's not to say there are other guys who are going to be joining him.
As that's Demetrius Lilly. You got to keep an eye on him. He can shoot it from downtown. Their last game, he had 12 points in the first half in a loss against St. Joe's, and then he injured his wrist and did not play the rest of the game. If he plays the second half, they probably win the game.
He's the tallest guy out on the floor for them. So, if you're Carolina, you probably want him shooting out there, but
that one stripped out of bounds, out of the hands of Van Allen Lubin, who is a transfer junior from Vanderbilt. He's only averaging 6 points a game. Last year for the Commodores, he averaged almost 13 points and 7 rebounds.
Well, and it's, with the portal, everybody thinks you're going to plug right in and, pick up on where your numbers were from last year. And that's not always the case. It's different systems and, different surroundings, different players, so it takes a little bit of time.
A little floater by Davis is too short, and Lilly rips away the rebound. An early 3-0 advantage for LaSalle.
It's important for a visiting team in this building to get off to a big start.
And there's Lilly off the glass against a much smaller Seth Trimble.
This is the thing against this Carolina team. You don't have to worry about a shot blocker. Visually, it looks open inside, so you can feel confident.
Well, you've known Fran Dunphy a long time. He's a graduate of LaSalle.
Yep.
He's coached at, 3 of the Big 5, if you will, in Philadelphia. At Penn, followed by Temple, 17 NCAA tournament appearances for his teams through the years, and now in his third season at his alma mater, 617 career wins. That's 42nd on the all-time NCAA coaching wins list.
And that's the only reason he came back, is his alma mater. You know, he was out of the game, thought he was retired. You know, he was going to watch high school basketball games, and they called him and they said they needed help, and he answered the call. They gave him a shot as a high school kid, recruited him. He had a great career there.
There's Lilly again, and this time it's off the mark and pulled out of there by Drake Powell, one of two very talented freshmen for the Tar Heels, getting a lot of playing time. Cadeau turns it over, and unfortunately for him and Hubert Davis, that has occurred frequently of late.
Really unforced error that time.
And there's a three by Jaleel White, just his fourth in 9 attempts on the year.
Double-figure scorer for them, though, just under 12 points a game.
And another missed three by the Tar Heels. Powell going to go to the rack. He's got that body to get to the rack, and he'll draw the foul by White.
And he probably should do that more. Only 6 free throw attempts on the year for him, and shooting, 5 of 6. So it's probably something he should look to do more. Get inside, get to the line, use that athletic body.
You know, he made his first career start against Alabama a couple of games ago. He had a big game against Michigan State, 18 points for Hubert Davis's team, but then, he comes back and does not score at all in the win over Georgia Tech. Hubert Davis, of course, a great player here in North Carolina. Played in the NBA for a long, long time. He played under Dean Smith, was an assistant for 9 years under Roy Williams. And Powell hits both free throws.
We're going to have Alexander Julian on in a little bit in the broadcast, and I'm going to give Hubert props. Still wearing a sport coat. After COVID, a lot of the coaches went warm-up suits. Never came back from that. Kudos to Hubert for wearing the sport coat.
Absolutely. And Coach Dumpy's got the coat and the tie.
Yeah,
he's looking good. I do too. I'm with you. And yes, Alexander Julian, who's a Tar Heel born and bred. Wide open three, missed this time by Jalen Withers, who's just checked into the game for North Carolina, replacing Powell. And this is their best player. McKeithen pitches it out to White. Thought about pulling the trigger. And now they got a mismatch underneath. Looked like White got away with an elbow, and there's a takeaway. Davis to the rack, and one.
And there's the speed up the floor for North Carolina in transition, and that's exactly what Davis needed to get off the schneid, shooting the ball, getting out in transition.
You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. Well, what a beautiful campus here in Chapel Hill. Students are out right now, so a different kind of a crowd than we're used to seeing here at the Dean Dome. I asked a few of the students down in the end zone down there as you look at the all-time leading scorers here in the history of the program. Tyler Hansbrough, Armando Bacot had a big game in the G League the other night, had 25 points, still trying to make his way. And there's a guy you said would be here. He is here, the great Phil Ford.
Well, and if you look at that list, you see how important big guys have been in this program and what they're lacking this year, that inside presence. What they're going to need especially on the rebounding and the defense side. That's what Hubert Davis was stressing to us today, just some physicality inside.
Boy, Sam Perkins, after all these years, is still fifth on that list.
Well, and how about he was a stretch four before they knew what that was? And what about the outside shooting that he brought in his pro career?
Yeah. He was such a great player. Your career and his career are very similar to one another. You guys, 3 years where you're an All-American. You both walked out of your respective schools. You at Duke, him at Carolina. You guys are both in the top 10 all-time in the ACC. Scoring, as there's a nice left-handed drive by the freshman Ian Johnson. Rebounds, block shots. You guys did it all. And you're still in the top 6 in all of those categories in the history of Atlantic Coast Conference basketball.
Well, well, now, Tom, it's just nobody's staying 4 years, and and nobody's staying in the same school for 4 years.
Well, and when you saw that list a second ago, all of those guys were 4-year players.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some of them 5 years.
That's right. That's right. So we're knotted at 8. And Cadeau will head back to the sideline. Well, Ian Jackson's been on a pretty good run here lately. He's a guy to keep an eye on. Had 23, 10 for 17 in the game against Alabama. Contact underneath, no whistle, and ripped out of there by Deshaun Shepard.
Well, and North Carolina, too, they haven't been settling for the 3. They've been attacking the basket. Great defensive play.
Swatted out of there by Withers, and at last touched at Explorer. Withers a transfer after 3 years at Louisville in his second year with North Carolina.
Well, and Washington took the body that time, and that allowed Withers to come in as a secondary defender and get the block.
That's a nice bounce pass, and the bucket is good by Washington on a nice pick and roll right there. The feed from R.J. Davis.
Yeah, I love the change in attitude. Great, easy, simple bounce pass. Attack the rim. No shot blocking there for the Explorers. You know, when you're not shooting the ball well from the perimeter, Tom, build from the inside out. Build the confidence. See the ball going through the rim. Then you can work out. Maybe, the jump shot starts falling.
And Washington completes a 3-point play. He got a good start to this season to Jalen Washington. He's 6'10". I mean, he's got some size to him now.
Well, and you have to.
Trimble, the head fake, the foul on Marrero. That is an 11-0 Carolina run.
And you play against pressure. You are dead. You throw it in the corner like that. Right there, you can't see. Good, big double team, active like that. There's just nowhere to go. Great defense, active.
And we get our first look. LaSalle fans get their first look at number 3. Right there in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, Eric Acker. A free throw is no good, and an offensive rebound for North Carolina. 13-8 Tar Heels. They step out and looking good feet again, and just not ready for the pass was Washington. That was a good pass by Davis. But there's Eric Acker. He's a transfer from Long Island University. An all-NEC rookie performer last year. Was a New York City MVP of the city championship game. It's the first game he's been eligible to play after transferring. And they like his future.
Well, we talked to Fran Dunphy yesterday, and he said, for the last 5 games, they've been a great finish there. He's been practicing like he's going to play that game. Practicing with the first unit in anticipation of this game today.
Jalen Withers with the bucket. And that's Acker's first shot. Bump, fade, and a foul is going to go against White. And that will be number 2 on Jaleel White. And they may have to send him to the bench with just under 13 minutes to go in the opening half. Yep. Coach Dunphy's going to bring in Tunde Valberg Fasasi, a sophomore who grew up in Sweden. And he'll come in after the free throw. Also a pair of changes for North Carolina. Ty Claude will check in along with Cadeau. Next week, courtside Saturday doubleheader. Chestnut Hill, we begin. ACC Newcomer of the Year. SMU visits Boston College, and Louisville goes down to Florida State. It all gets underway at 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific. And that's a lane violation. Witherspoon's missed them both anyway.
How about Louisville's in their his first introduction to Louisville, Kentucky today?
That's exactly right. Pat
Kelsey, first trip to Rupp Arena as the head coach.
I tell you, that guy will get it going down there.
Yes, he will.
He'll get it going. He's an excellent coach.
Yeah, and I saw that when he was an assistant with Skip Prosser at Wake Forest years ago. He's a winner.
Lilly in the paint, and it won't go down. He was making those at the start of this one. Ian Jackson, the freshman, keeps his dribble alive. They need this guy to start making shots. Bang, bang. That's Cade Tyson. They had high hopes for him after he transferred in from Belmont this year. He has this year and another year and has really struggled. There's Jones with a basket at the other end. Deuce Jones. He's a really good-looking freshman.
Well, for Tyson, you know, when you make that transition up from a mid-major, same spot, different result, but great follow. Playing with a lot of confidence. You know, you see that first one go down, did a nice job following his miss.
Lilly, another three. And I'm not sure that's what they were looking for. Coach Dunphy screaming along the sideline. His team has fallen behind by 10 and make it 12. It's a good, strong inside game to start this one for Carolina. That's Ty Claude.
He's another guy that really could pay benefits for them. A big body, again, rebounder, but he got great position inside.
This is a 20-2 run for the Tar Heels. Some of their best basketball early part of this season. You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, brought to you by Fresh Pet. It's not dog food, it's food. And by healthcare.gov. New law, lower prices. Enroll today. Of course, that's Julian's and some of the ties that were designed by American fashion icon designer Alexander Julian. Born and raised here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So you're a Tar Heel through and through.
All the way through.
You come to all the games?
Everyone I can.
Do you?
Everyone I can. And you know, this is a hallowed ground, and being here with this excitement, with this crowd, with all of these folks and this wonderful team and our great coaches is just, it brings you back to square one, to life at its best.
You know, they had the press conference here a couple of days ago. Some guy named Belichick's now your football coach here in town.
I've heard about that.
And you got him looking good already. And then take a look at this at Bubba Cunningham, cutting off the sleeves, right?
Yeah, well.
But you've been designing coaches' attire. We talked about the sport coat for Hubert Davis over there. The uniforms here. You've been doing this a long time.
I've had the great privilege of working with 5 different coaches here, and it's been just a thrill.
Alexander, I'm going to have to talk with you about hallowed ground and maybe about 10 miles from here. But
well, I've never quite been there. But
well, I'm going to have to take you on a peek.
Let me just say, you look great in the Hornets uniform.
And I was privileged to wear your design down there in Charlotte a number of years ago with number 42.
You wore it very well.
In fact, we have a shot of that of Mike Jaminski donning the Charlotte Hornets jersey. There he is in the background back there.
Yeah.
I was a size or two larger than Muggsy Bogues. JR.
Yeah. Great team.
And they still wear your stuff from time to time, right?
No, there's a New Day version of it. I would like to go back to the original myself, but not up to me.
I hear you. But you show up to the basketball games and you're looking like $1 million. I mean, I'm just trying to, put something together with these CW pullovers.
It's a labor of love.
So are you designing a Bill Belichick hoodie?
We are working on a new Argyle hoodie, yes. But you know, Coach Belichick is known for that, but he is evidently a man of true style and has great appreciation for fine tailoring and suits and jackets, and I look forward to working with it.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I was talking with somebody before the game today, and they were surprised how sharp he looked the other day. And I said, hey, look, for people who've been around him at all, he takes a lot of pride in that.
He knows what he's doing.
How is the sleeveless look going to go? And are you going to have a sleeveless line?
Let's cross that bridge when we come to it. All right, and hopefully we don't come to it.
Carolina leading 22-10. What a run it's been after LaSalle got off to a good start.
So pleased to see these guys looking so great.
Looking for a foul, the Tar Heel fans, and North Carolina has the basketball. To go up the other way. Ian Jackson to the rack, and it's stuck in the rim. Well, Mr. Julian, I don't want to take your time. I know you're watching the ball game. Thank you so much for coming by. Continued success.
Thank you. Go Tar Heels.
Alexander Julian, born right here in Chapel Hill, and still has a store here, makes his home here, went to college here. And, man, he looks sharp. I'm embarrassed sitting next to him with what I'm wearing. We got to get him to design CW Network polo. What do you think?
I'm sure they're listening, so we'll take that under advisement.
I don't know if they're listening.
I'm sure we'll find out.
Mac Etienne, the transfer junior, gets his first bucket, averages about 12 minutes per game. That's too strong on the open look after hitting his first one. He's missed 2 in a row now as Cade Tyson. And look what I found, and then miss a layup. He'll try it again, and it rolls out. That's Ty Claude. Transferred in from Georgia Tech.
A lot of second chance opportunities for North Carolina, which is a good sign. That hasn't been a strength of theirs so far in the season. And that's, you know, in general time, and Hubert Davis talked about it today at a shoot-around. They can score the ball. That has not been an issue. It's been stopping people.
Yep.
I mean, they're right at the top in offense, but they are dead last in the league in defense. And in his one word today, unacceptable.
Every Tuesday this winter, NXT bringing the heat to CW. Trick Williams defends his title this Tuesday against Eddie Thorpe. Catch all the action on WWE NXT, Tuesday 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on Fox. Yeah. North Carolina ranks offensively #1 in the ACC and 19th overall at 86 points a game. But as you mentioned where they are in the ACC, how about 333rd in the country in defense? That's not going to cut it. Rebound underneath by Claude, slapped out of bounds. Still North Carolina ball.
Well, you brought up an old Carolina alum today, Doug Moe, who was coach out in Denver with the Nuggets, and their mantra, we're going to score 130. If you can score 135, you can beat us.
Right. And that happened a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I know that Hubert doesn't want to play that way.
There's the takeaway, 2-on-1, and left-handed. That's a nice move by Deuce Jones. This guy's going to be a good player.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. Fran Dumpy said today that, you know, sometimes the team's greatest strength could be a weakness, and he wondered if North Carolina could be run on. And this LaSalle team will play a tempo. He's a Philly guy. I mean, he is just straight Philly through and through.
You know, you talked about the only reason he's back. He told us, he says, you know, in 1966, they gave me a chance as a player. In 1979, they gave me a chance as a coach, an assistant coach. And he said when they called, there was no way I was going to say no.
Yep. He's got a new remake on their arena. A lot of good things happening at that school.
And that's the sparkling new John Glazer Arena. They're 4-0 so far at home in that building. stripped out of there, and that's off the knee of Valberg Fasazi. We were talking about it yesterday. This guy was a really good player. Now, that's his career average, okay? His last 2 years, he averaged over 18 points a game. And they lost one game his senior year. That's a nice move to the rack by Elliot Cadeau, his first bucket.
And, you know, for him, he was really getting to the free throw line his first few games. I think he needs to get back to that. Attacking the basket, not settling for jump shots.
That's a beautiful pass. And then another one. Acker, his first bucket as an Explorer. That's nicely done.
And you know, it's one thing to practice. It's another thing to get out here on the court and find your way with your teammates in live action.
R.J. Davis left alone in the corner and rattles it in. His first three. There's Jones trapped in the corner. And a foul. We've mentioned the name Deuce Jones. He's a reigning A-10 freshman of the week. He had 19 against St. Joe's. And he takes this one coast to coast. You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, brought to you by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 160 years. 27-16 Carolina. If you're looking for a cable news network that respects all Americans, and you have a new home with News Nation. See why News Nation is America's most trusted cable news network. To find News Nation on your television, go to newsnationnow.com. R.J. Davis averages 18 per game. He has 5 through almost the first 13 minutes. 9 different Carolina players have scored so far in this game.
A big lift from the bench. Guys coming in, giving them nice scoring there, and nobody, you know, just really spread out.
Pull-up jumper is too strong. McKeithen is still sitting on the bench. I'm wondering if he's injured. He has not scored, and he averages 19 per game.
It's been a big surprise for them, too. He's up to scoring average 10 points from last year.
Well, that's a catch that Lubin's got to make. And then a turnover at the other end. Good pass from Ian Jackson, and laying it in is Withers' his second basket. Carolina's had good passing for most of this first half. We were laughing about that with Hubert Davis before the game today. He says, you know, they rarely ever show the assist. And you made the comment, and they rarely ever show plays from the team that lost the game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the highlights are usually spectacular plays from the losses, and you know, everybody. It's the home runs, the spectacular plays that are shown on TikTok or Instagram, or you know, but it's the good, solid, basic plays that win games. Make an easy pass to an open teammate.
Deshaun Shepard is 74% free throw shooter, and here comes their leading scorer, the aforementioned Corey McKeithen.
You know, it really is an easy game, but we can make it very difficult. Sometimes players can make it a lot more difficult than it is.
Shepard hits them both, so McKeithen is coming back. He got the 2 fouls early on. We figured, though, that, you know, look, you're playing with a little bit of house money here. Let's be honest. Carolina might be off to a slow start. There's a nice pass, and Davis had it knocked away, and then Jackson bangs it in from the corner. Boy, they're high on Ian Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, the freshmen have been really good for this team.
Of course, it's right down the road in Durham, where a couple of freshmen are getting a lot of pub, and rightfully so, especially Cooper Flagg. But Hubert Davis, he loves this duo, especially of Jackson and Powell. Jackson has 52 points in the last 3 games. And Shepard loses a handle, and that's a turnover.
Really solid defensive possession that time. The shot clock was winding down and forcing the turnover.
So 32-18, closing in on 5 minutes to go. This is CW Courtside Saturday, presented by Allstate. You're in good hands. Carolina shooting 52% from the field, only 30% from three. And that's their sixth turnover here in the opening half.
Yeah, but that 30%, Tom, is an improvement over what they've been in the last two games here.
Well, you're not kidding. I mean, in fact, you look at the last two, and you brought up the numbers earlier, but some perhaps not with us. 10 for 52 from three. And this is a change of pace for North Carolina. Not falling behind, and falling behind big in the first half. They were down by 8 against Georgia Tech. They've been down by 8 or more this year.
Well, and they've gotten a nice mix, though. They've gotten out in the open floor and they've run. They've gotten offensive rebounds. They've gotten second chance opportunities. They've been pretty crisp in their half-court offense. So it's been a good balance.
You know, each of their last 5 games, they were down by 18 against Dayton and came back and won. Came back from 21 down to win that game. They were down by 20 against Kansas, 14 against Auburn.
Well, and let's make mention of the fact, too, that they've got the 7th toughest strength of schedule in the country. You know, they're playing against some pretty stout competition.
I'm not sure who they gave that bucket to. They were both right there, Lubin and Withers, and they gave it to Lubin. So now 10 different Carolina players have scored. Here's White. Carolina trying to blow this one wide open before we reach the intermission. Lead is 16.
You know, to Fran Duffy's credit, you know, they came down and played Duke last year. He likes games like this to test his team, find out where they are.
That's a nice pass. McKeithen to Jones, who lays it in.
Good look ahead that time.
Etienne picks up the foul, his second. When we come back, Trimble will go to the line. 34-20, North Carolina. Let's take a look at today's game summary presented by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 160 years. Look at the rebounding difference in points in the paint.
Yeah, the offensive rebounding has been really good, and you know, the focus has been to get it inside. 20 of the 34 points in the paint area, so solid job there.
And this was something Hubert Davis talked with us about. It's got to get better inside.
My hope is this week before our next game, it comes at the perfect time for us to heal so that we can play fast and free and play the best that we can play. We were able to attack the basket through post and penetration, and we've got to find a way to be able to do that. It just can't be on penetration.
Well, and that's the one thing, I mean, you know, I don't like to talk about who's not here, and you know, but they don't have a guy that they can throw the ball into in the paint, and for the first time in I don't know how many years, that can do something with it. So they have to create different things, and you know, whether it's off the drive or you know, however they manufacture things in the paint, they've got to do it a different way.
It will be interesting to see how some of these guys progress, because like a lot of teams that you know, we talked to their coaches already with the transfer portal, and North Carolina certainly has a number of transfers here along with young players. You know, a North Carolina team we see in mid-December could look very different come mid-February.
You know, I think the nature of college basketball that most teams will look different as the season goes. You know, I don't know that any coach has a feel for how their team looks in November.
How about that?
Well, you know, what did I say to you today? I said a guy named Deuce, he's got to have a great mid-range game. And what a terrific finish. Absorbing the contact. This is, you know, LaSalle has not been to the free throw line in this game, but well, that was a great shot.
And Deuce Jones has been the man. He's got 8. Mentioned coming off a 19 performance against St. Joe's in a loss, and now he has 9. So he has 9 of their 23 off the bench.
Yeah, Lilly kept him in it early, but he's the one who's picking it up here late. Tell you, if they can keep it under or at 10 heading into half, I'm sure that Fran Dumpy will be happy.
You know, he went to the zone there, and you and I were talking about this, you know, just watching shoot around, where North Carolina was having a hard time making three-point shots in practice. And, you know, you just pack it in, and if they start making shots for the first time really all year long, then they start making shots. And that'll be a turnover, on Lilly.
Well, you know, I think especially for a team like LaSalle, I'm just going to challenge North Carolina to make jump shots. I'm going to rebound as a unit and try to, you know, they've had success on the offensive glass, so I'm going to try to pack it in, challenge them to beat me over the top. You've got some foul issues. Try to hide guys.
Isolation play there. That's a nice offensive move by Lubin.
I think he's going to progress offensively as the year goes along.
Well, you can't average 13 points and 6 rebounds in the SEC and not have something going for you, right?
Yeah, he's going to settle in, I would think.
And he gets a big rejection right there.
He's got long arms. I mean, that's, you know, there are things that he can bring.
Oh, look out down there.
And that affected the play.
Yeah, it sure did. That's a shame. That young man went out there to clean off the floor, and there's a lane at the other end. That's just a bad break. That's Cade Tyson. He only averages 3 points a game. He has 7. And Lilly, another three-point try off the mark. 1:11 to go until halftime, and a 17-point lead, largest lead of the game for North Carolina. Moving screen on Cade Tyson.
The manager gets the defensive play of the game. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That looked very different in real time than in slow motion.
Yeah, it did.
Ethan without a bucket here in the first half, the leading scorer for the Explorers. But Deuce Jones right there, crossover dribble, left hand, rebound Lilly, and he'll go to the line. A foul on Tyson, his second in the last 30 seconds. We invite you to stick around for today's halftime show presented by Subaru Love. It's what makes Subaru, Subaru. Lilly 12 of 17 from the line.
And the two big guns in this game have been really quiet. And Davis has gotten shots. Only 5 points from him. And he scored in double figures in every game this year for North Carolina. But you know, for McKeithen he's only taken 1 shot in the first half.
He had to sit down a lot because of the 2 fouls, and there's a timeout going to be called by North Carolina with 32 on the game clock, 24 on the shot clock until halftime. Clemson lost earlier today. What a wild game that was in overtime against Memphis. You mentioned Louisville going to take on red-hot Kentucky later tonight. And, you know, on a little bit different note, we talked about coming through that tunnel. And you can't help but think about the great players and the great coaches and the great moments. You said it did not hold true for you.
Let's see what you know.
I got to throw you in front of the bus.
No,
I got to do it.
Look, this place is fabulous, and I have enjoyed.
You know I'm kidding you. Come on.
And I have enjoyed. I enjoy coming here and doing games, and they treat me extraordinarily well here. And I have the utmost respect for this program. And it's a great rivalry, and the people here are fabulous.
Yeah.
And
Except for that little kid today who asked for your autograph.
Well, yeah. And then you told him that I went to Duke, and he turned away.
He turned to walk away. I couldn't believe it. I was yelling at him. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, that was funny.
And you know what? And you know what?
Priceless.
I understood.
Yeah, that's right. It was priceless. Oh, boy, wide open. It's been a big-time first half for a guy, quite frankly, who needed it. Cade Tyson, he has 9. Down to the final 3, 2, and good! And it's been a big first half for that man, Deuce Jones. He has 11. And we go to the break. Carolina matching its largest lead of this first half at 17. 42-25, North Carolina. Halftime show is coming up. Stay with us.
The biggest game to date in the 1985-86 collegiate basketball season taking place here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina this afternoon. Indeed fitting because it kicks off the opening of the new Dean Smith Student Activity Center. Number 1 ranked North Carolina, number 3 ranked Duke, without question, the battle for the number 1 spot in the national rankings.
That was my dad doing the first ever game in this building. He is a proud alum of the University of North Carolina with Billy Cunningham.
Mecca. He was here at Mecca when it opened. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Boy, you are something.
And who did they decide to open this hallowed hall against?
Well, I think they beat Duke by 21, I think, was the final in that one. I could have been
and
wrong.
Who scored the first basket here?
Ooh. The first basket. So that would have been 82. Because it's 40 years, or 84, forgive me. It's 40 years young. Who is it?
I think it was Mark Allery.
Really?
Yes, I believe.
Great player. Boy, was he a great player. Who did he play for? Is he a Georgia Tech guy?
Yeah, he came in the portal. I tell you what, you know how I feel about Carmichael.
Love that place. Yeah.
An unbelievable gym.
Yep. And that's where you played in your days with the Blue Devils. They had not opened this building.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yep. And, you know, Reynolds Coliseum, all just classic buildings.
Yep. And, of course, maybe the most memorable game of all time was the Walter Davis shot.
Yep.
And old Carmichael wide open, good feed underneath. And that's Lubin. He has 6. He's had a nice game. He averages 6 per game.
And North Carolina has been doing a great job of that. They've been getting slips and pick and rolls and things and dunks in this game.
Ooh, that pass was supposed to be to ATN, and it hit Cadeau right in the face.
Just a pick and you know, a little lapse defensively. He gets a wide open look.
A lot of minutes here for ATN in this one. Carolina's had very good success down low, and that's a nice move. Banked in by Jaleel White. He got off to a good start in this game, and then got a couple fouls, had to sit down. He has 5 points.
You look at LaSalle's lineup, everybody's had some really good games for Fran Dumpy, and they needed everybody to have a really good game in this one to be competitive. The A-10 is going to be really good this year at the top.
Say, that's another interesting game tonight. Speaking of the A-10, arguably one of the top 3 college basketball venues in the country is the University of Dayton.
Yep.
And Dayton will host Marquette tonight. Dayton has won 8 of its first 10 games. That's a nice kiss off the glass in the first bucket by McKeithen. And Marquette, of course, ranked in the top 5 in the country.
And how about, it's interesting that in this climate, Shaka Smart has not used the portal. He is going to do it the conventional way, or what used to be the conventional way, and is having a lot of success.
Trudeau.
And when I was working CBS, I did the first 4 one year, and Dayton is just an incredible basketball community.
Yes, that's the way of putting it. You're spot on. They sell out every game, not just the first 4. They sell out every University of Dayton Flyers game. Don Donahue, they're the head coach there forever. Yep. Davis little fade away and was fouled behind the arc. Got bumped there by White, his 3rd.
Now, see, if you're really locked in on a scouting report and you've got a guy who's struggling from 3, the last thing you do is foul him, especially somebody who's shooting 88% from the free throw line.
You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, brought to you by healthcare.gov. New law, lower prices, enroll today. What a career it has been for R.J. Davis. Last year, the first Carolina player to be a first-team All-American since Justin Jackson back in the 2016-17 season. First Carolina guard to be a consensus first-team All-American since the great Joseph Forte, and that's 25 years ago. Hit all 3 of them. Picks up the dribble, gets it to McKeithen. Shot clock down to 5. Trying to work on Trimble. Pull-up jumper. Tough shot. In and out.
Well, Trimble's a nice cover for McKeithen. He's got good size, good length. Got the quickness to stay in front of him.
Great pass. Penetration by Cadeau, and an easy lay-in for R.J. Davis, who has 10.
And that was interesting. I mean, there was a lot of standing around on that possession. It didn't look like it was going anywhere, and Davis wound up all alone underneath. I mean, look, it was just the shot clock was winding down, and then just a wide-open layup.
Cadeau, only 1 turnover in the game so far today, and we talked about how mightily he had struggled the last 5 games. He had 23 turnovers.
And 22 assists. So for your primary ball handler, minimum, you wanted a 2-to-1 ratio on assist to turnover, minimum.
ATN, now 8 of 14 at the free throw line. It's a different crowd here today with the students gone. They finished up exams a couple of days ago. So while sold out, not completely filled at the Dean Dome today, there's Davis way downtown, and nothing but net for R.J. Davis.
Well, you know what happens, son? You get fouled and you go to the free throw line, you make 3 shots in a row, and all of a sudden you get a little rhythm. And now he took that from Asheville on the map on North Carolina.
Bang, bang. Tar Heels rolling. You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. Carolina with a 52-29 lead. We mentioned earlier the brand new, just opened this year, John Glazer Arena on the campus of LaSalle. They've sold out a couple of times already. It's the first time they've had 2 sellouts in the month of November, going all the way back to 2013, 2014, and they haven't lost there in 4 games.
Yeah, rich history there. Tom Gola going way back, great player. And Lionel Simmons actually has the record here, visiting player, 37 points, which was tied last year by Dalton Knecht for Tennessee. Had a chance to tie it or break the record, Tom, but was hurt on the play and couldn't shoot the free throw to break the record.
How about that? I bet that at the end of the day probably bummed him out. It's a pretty cool building to have the all-time record as a visiting player.
Yes, sir. 37.
And McKeithen drills the jumper. Still having a hard time finding it from 3, and there's an easy one. That's 8 in the game for Lubin. And we mentioned last year this guy led Vanderbilt in field goal percentage, offensive reboundings, blocks. He was 3rd in scoring and 2nd in rebounding. This guy was a good player last year for Vanderbilt.
Tom, last 4 games, coming into this game, Lubin was 12 of 15. Today's 4 of 4. He hadn't hurt that average.
No, he is not. No, he is not.
Shooting 77% coming into the game.
Oh, that one kicked around by Withers.
No, I think come January, he's going to be a big part of what they do.
What a difference it would make if they could get some contributions, getting Claude back, right? Because he's been in and out. He did not play in their most recent game against Georgia Tech.
Now, if they can get Lubin, if they can get him to be a 13-7 guy consistently, that would be huge.
Thursday night, game night on the CW. Raven Simone hosts an all-new episode of the classic crossword game Scrabble, followed by an all-new Trivial Pursuit hosted by LeVar Burton. That's Thursday night, game night. All starts at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, only on the CW. It's been really the only brutal part of this game. For North Carolina, they've not been good from 3, 4 of 17, but only 50% from the line. And this is a team coming in that shoots 78% from the line on the year.
Well, and I think, the game, North Carolina is coming out of final exams for the first semester. And that game can always be a little dodgy from a concentration standpoint. Going forward, you're going to be able to lock in. And next week is going to be very critical, not getting ahead of ourselves in this game.
Well, you're right, though. You look ahead to who they're going to face. And look, they've already played 3 top 10 teams this season. And not only top 10 teams, but teams that have a lot of experience. Alabama and Auburn, Michigan State wasn't ranked when they played them, but Michigan State's Michigan State, right? And then you got Kansas, they lost at KU by 3 in overtime.
Well, and the thing is, they haven't beaten any of them.
Right.
And, if we're looking at postseason resume, if the committee's looking back, these 2 games against Florida and Tennessee.
UCLA.
Or UCLA, I'm sorry, coming up are massive.
Yep. Both of those teams are ranked. In fact, UCLA has not lost yet. The Bruins are playing against Arizona. They're all Pac-10 brethren this afternoon. That's a reaching foul that'll go against Who do they get for that one? Jalen Withers, they got his second. Now that game against UCLA, Mick Cronin's team, that'll be played at Madison Square Garden.
My favorite venue as a pro.
Really?
Is talk about Mecca.
Yeah.
That's it, brother.
Yeah. Good offensive rebound, and here's McKeithen. And it's not there, and battle for the board, and Ian Jackson comes away with it. And he's fouled.
Yeah, LaSalle cannot overcome a 6-point game from McKeithen today.
And there's a schedule we were talking about, and the next two coming up specifically. Number 9, unbeaten Florida, unbeaten UCLA. Then you play Campbell, and then right into the ACC against Louisville and Notre Dame. We'll have 2 games from the Dean Dome coming up as Godot drops one in. You and I will be here back-to-back weekends on January the 18th and the 25th. Stanford comes here, now of course part of the ACC, and Boston College will be here on the 25th.
And SMU's travel, and they're coming from the AAC, and they're traveling. That's the way that Lilly started the game, from the 3. And they need a lot of those in a hurry. The travel from Dallas, they're used to a pretty stout travel schedule. Stanford and Cal are facing a lot this year.
Oh boy, are they ever.
And that's going to be interesting to see how they fare, with that.
I mean, it's one thing for a football team, and you and I were talking about this last week. It's one thing for a football team where you fly out on, say, a Thursday, and then you're flying back right after the game on a Saturday afternoon, right? But for a basketball team, it means being on the road for a week. Because chances are, while you're back here, you're not just coming for one game. You're coming for 2, maybe 3 games.
And if you have a midweek game, it's not like every game's on a Saturday.
Yep. Timeout on the full court pressure. 59-36. Coach Dunphy wants to see his team finish this game strong. Well, they had a press conference 2 days ago here at Chapel Hill welcoming Bill Belichick. Second most wins in the history of the National Football League.
First basketball coach not really connected with Frank McGuire. What a great history here in Carolina.
And of course, his father was an assistant coach here at North Carolina when he was a very young boy, and he remembered the days when Frank McGuire was the head coach. He preceded Dean Smith.
Frank McGuire recruited me to the University of South Carolina.
Yep.
How about that?
That's right. He moved from North Carolina and went to South Carolina. Won a championship here at North Carolina.
57.
Yeah, had Lenny Root was a big star for that team. Nearly a monster father.
Undefeated that year. Beat Wilt Chamberlain in Kansas.
And this was a sweatshirt that he broke out that was his dad's from his coaching days. His dad went on to coach, of course, at the Naval Academy. And
Dad actually apparently wore sleeves.
Yes, he did. That whole hire has been poked and prodded like a player at the NFL Combine. I mean, it's been every angle you could conceivably imagine, coast to coast. Good move, bad move. I don't know how anybody in their right mind could think it's a bad move. Now, you may not think that he's going to be able to adjust to the college game. I get it. Bill Belichick, man. Only Don Shula won more games than that guy at the very highest level.
The only way I could see it being construed as a bad move is the NFL teams that missed,
no doubt,
on picking up on it.
He only got one interview last offseason. That was with Atlanta. It's been a breakout game here today for Cade Tyson.
I was going to say, if there are a couple of things that come out of this game that are real positive, one for that young man, and I'm going to say the other one for Van Allen Lubin.
Yep. Too strong, and this is Ian Jackson coming the other way for North Carolina, closing in on 12 minutes to go. And the Tar Heels that length of time away from improving to 6-4 on the year. And there's Tyson again. That's his third three-pointer. This was a guy we told you that scored almost 1,000 points in his career at Belmont, known as a shooter. And he's shooting the lights out right now. Welcome back to Chapel Hill. Let's take a look at today's key play, brought to you by Hilton Garden Inn. Hilton for the stay.
Well, they've just done a nice job of finding Mr. Tyson, and he's seen some good looks, good extra passes. Most of those threes coming from the corner. Having a little flashback to his Belmont days, and I tell you, it's been great to see the reception coming off the court that last time. All of his teammates extremely happy for him.
He was a freshman of the year in the Missouri Valley Conference his first year, and then second team all-conference performer last year. He's a much bigger body than you think he is. When you see him in person, he's a broad, strong kid. And this is him again.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, he's not thinking now. He's just out, he's playing and he's shooting, which is it's a big hurdle for him.
We're talking about Carolina 2 games from now. Well, their next game against Florida. Florida has won again today, undefeated. UCLA has 1 loss, and UCLA just went to Arizona and beat Arizona 57-54 today. So Mick Cronin's team off to a really good start in their first year in the Big Ten. Sounds so weird, doesn't it?
Well, and you know what? But I think it's almost like Big Ten is a better fit for Mick Cronin.
Yeah.
You know, the type of guy,
right.
type of guy that he is, and the type of coach that he is.
It's a good point. 13 now for Deuce Jones. He is impressive looking.
That's
freshman.
What, I kind of wondered about when he went out there and took that job, what kind of fit that would be.
Yeah. I'm with you. I thought the same thing. James Brown gets his first bucket. He comes on for North Carolina. Still a lot of the starters in the game, but Brown.
Well, this, for what the game is, these are going to be important minutes for Acker to get out there and get acclimated to his team and get some minutes on the floor.
I think the same thing holds true for James Brown. I mean, this guy's a big kid now, 6'10". He's light. As there's a 3 at the other end, knocked down by Demetrius Lilly. James Brown is a 6'10", 215-pound true freshman out of Aurora, Illinois. Jackson behind the back, step back 3, short. And Lilly with a rebound for the Explorers. We were talking about what's coming up for North Carolina, and you were talking about the fast start by some of these teams out of the Atlantic 10 so far this year. Loyola Chicago, remember them, the darlings of the tournament a couple of years ago, 8-0. Rhode Island and St. Bonaventure at 9-1. We're talking about Dayton will host Marquette tonight. The Flyers, along with GWBCU, all at 8-2. Davidson is at 7-2. It's a good league.
Yep.
Now, Mike, you know me. I mean, if there's ever a guy that when you think about Snoop Dogg, right? The first guy that comes to mind has got to be Tom Brennan, right? Right? Well, I'm going to be out there with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Martha Stewart for the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl on the 28th of December. That'll be Miami of Ohio, Chuck Martin, their head coach, and Colorado State under Jay Norvell, playing in a bowl game for the first time since 2017. And yes, Snoop is going to be with us in the booth.
Well, I was going to ask you about your playlist.
Better update it.
Yeah, get to work on that now.
Yeah, I better.
I think you better consult your son on that one.
Max Brown, Trevor Scales, our entire crew will be out there in Tucson, Arizona.
Hopefully he's recovered from France in his trip over to the Olympics.
Now, see, Martha Stewart, her a little closer to my age group. And this has just been the game they have waited for Cade Tyson. That is his 4th three-pointer of the game. And he has a North Carolina career best 18 points. How about that?
Making people forget about his brother.
Yeah.
Loves the corner threes. Great find.
And the first free throw is no good. You know, Tyson, coming out of high school in Matthews, North Carolina, just down the road. He was a 2022 North Carolina Mr. Basketball. Scored over 2,000 points. His team only lost 4 games. Carmel Christian. But he went to Belmont. His career high, if you're wondering, at Belmont is 31. So he's got a little work to do. But we got a lot of time left. See, that's been a good play for North Carolina in this game, that pick and roll.
Well, and that's the thing. Without that dominant post player, they've had things open in the middle, got things cleared out. They've run the high pick and roll, and that roll guy has been open.
Trimble, acrobatic in midair, lays it in.
Yeah, showing you the athleticism. The thing that's been impressive about him is just the progression throughout his career. Really not utilized early on, but just the steady growth as a player. And then this year, the big breakout year. Thought about leaving, came back from the portal, and has been rewarded. And boy, how about, the inside and the outside for Tyson.
He's got 20.
I think everybody just kind of had him locked in as a standstill shooter.
Demetrius Lilly with his 4th three-pointer of the game. He has 16 to lead the way for the Explorers. Yeah, I mean, to give you an idea about Tyson, he started the year getting a lot of minutes. And they have progressively gotten fewer and fewer and fewer. He's just down to 8 minutes a game. He's played more than that in this second half alone. And a 3 knocked in. First since being activated for the first time all year long for Eric Acker. Drake Powell. That's out of bounds. That'll go the other way. So timeout on the floor. Seth Trimble has been on quite a roll for Carolina coming into this one. Not making as much noise tonight, but look at this move. Beautifully done. All Tar Heels in Chapel Hill today. Well, let's have a look at today's game summary presented by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 160 years. We're talking about all the turnover problems for North Carolina coming into this game. Had 18 alone last week against Georgia Tech. How about this second half? Nary a 1.
Yeah, no, I mean, they had 7 in the first half. Not great, but certainly cleaned things up here. 10 assists, no turnovers here in the second half. and doing a great job converting on him. And boy, Cade Tyson having a career here.
He only had 4 field goals this entire season coming into this game. 4 all year. He has 4 3-pointers alone and has doubled his number of field goals in this game. He has 8 of them. You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, presented by Allstate. You're in good hands.
Yeah, this could be. He's got 4 personal fouls. He may not get near anybody defensively.
I wouldn't either, would you? Yeah, he's going to play hide and seek from every defender. I mean, every guy with a ball from now on.
Yeah, go ahead, big fella. You got it.
.50-51, closing in on 6 minutes ago. There's a takeaway by Tremble and an easy one. Throws it down. He has 10 points in the game. Hits double figures again. In fact, he's been in double figures every game except for one this season. You know, you were talking about a guy who's come along. His freshman year, very rarely got into a game. And last year, he was a 6-man. Had a good year as a 6-man. Got the 3rd most votes for the ACC's 3rd Man of the Year award as Acker hits another 3. That's a good sign for LaSalle. But now Tremble expected to deliver, and he's delivering.
Yeah, 1.8 points his first year, 5.2 last year, and here he is sitting at 16 a game. I mean, that's, you know, what you like to see. So he didn't finish right there, but I really like what I see from Deuce Jones.
Well, there's a lot to be excited with that young man. He's from Trenton, New Jersey. He was ranked as the 17th best player in the country coming out of high school last year. He is the highest recruit in the history, or modern history, let's say the last 50 years, signed by LaSalle, just based on his high school reputation. So I'm not sure it comes as a surprise at all that this guy right here with the basketball can do it. Oh boy, a little strong. That would have been a nice finish. Here's Tyson.
It's like the crowd is shocked now when he missed.
Takeaway there, and I would imagine pretty soon we'll see. Although who knows? You know, the way things have been going for North Carolina, Hubert Davis may want his guys. Majority of regular players are still in the game. So he may not clear that bench until about a minute or 2 left in the game. There's a turnover by Powell.
Well, I would think, too, you know, you want to reinforce some things going into next week.
Marrero, not there.
When you look at Trimble, 10 points, that was his 8th rebound, and he got 4 assists. So really solid stat line for him.
Timeout on the floor, under 4 timeout. 82-54, Carolina. Let's take a look at today's player of the game, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, and motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. No doubt about that. He came in averaging 8 minutes a game. He has almost 20 minutes today and 20 points.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people in the building saw that one coming, but certainly a welcome surprise. Cade Tyson having certainly the game of the year so far for him. And they're going to need, well, they're not going to need that production going forward, but they're going to need some of that 3-point shooting for sure.
Talked about Louisville and Kentucky meeting tonight at Rupp Arena. And Pat Kelsey's first taste of that rivalry after an air ball. Say a couple of other really good games later tonight. We mentioned Marquette is at Dayton. Tennessee is playing at Illinois. Carolina alum Wes Miller, he played here under Roy Williams. Got a win in a big rivalry game, Cincinnati against Xavier. UCLA a winner. NC State fell at Kansas today.
I remember I did one of Wes Miller's first games as a head coach at UNC Greensboro was in Cameron Indoor Stadium. And I remember going up to the locker room. And
they won the game?
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
No,
one
no,
of his first games coaching.
Coaching, yeah. And he looked at me, he goes, I don't even know what I'm doing. and he looked like he couldn't even get served in a bar.
Yeah. Still looks that way.
Still looks that way. But, you know, he's just done a great job.
You know, many believe that the job here at North Carolina, here's a three by Powell, came down to Hubert Davis and Wes Miller. And Hubert got the job now 4 years ago, and Miller in his fourth season at Cincinnati. And there's a three banged in by Valberg Fasasi. Oh, boy, you know you're going good. He's wondering where's that luck been all year.
Well, you know what? If I'm him, I'm taking this game tape and I'm watching it and I'm reinforcing it just from a confidence standpoint, just to say, you know what, the ball does go in the hoop. I can shoot. I remember how to do this.
He came in from three into this game. 4 of 15. He has 5 3-pointers in the game. And that one will bounce over the backboard, but Cade Tyson.
And he's going to get a curtain call.
That's
here.
right, he should.
A standing ovation. Good for him.
Good for him is right. I mean, he's got his buddies shoving him and hugging him, and they're excited for him. They know when a teammate, right? When a guy's going through a tough time.
Yeah, and they don't want to even touch him. He's so hot.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, they do. They want it to rub off on him. We're under 2 minutes to go, and that's Ian Jackson. Batted outside. And wide open. Oh, boy. Carolina has not made this number of threes in a game in a long time. Their percentage isn't all that great from three-point range in a game. They're 11 of 31, but, I mean, it's 11. How about that? Ryan Zan, a sophomore from Princeton, New Jersey.
And this is, you know, Tom, this is a tough time of the year to navigate because you've gone through a really intense November and you've come through exams. You've got a really tough week coming up. Then you've got Christmas. And then you've got to amp back up for the ACC season. It's really tough to keep your concentration and then get geared up again.
That was Russell Hawkins, sophomore guard out of Charlotte, who had that bucket a second ago as Hubert Davis empties the bench. Hawkins' mother was a Tar Heel cheerleader. He's had a mom, a dad, a sister, all play athletics or participate in cheerleading here at North Carolina. So good for him. It's nice that he's able to get a bucket, his first of the year.
Is there any way that we can swing like a tie or something from Alexander Julian?
Well,
you know.
There was a time you and I used to have to dress up for these games.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, parting favors something.
We did give him some pub. You know. And I was going to swing by there and spend my own money as that one's knocked in by Akron, but they're closed now after the game. Akron's had a nice debut here for the Explorers. 3 3-pointers. has 11 points in the game.
Yeah, and you know, under normal circumstances, he would not be playing now. But as I say, these minutes have been really valuable for him.
And that's him with a basketball. He has 4 field goals in the game, 3 of them from 3, and make it another. That was nothing but lights out right there. Boy, Fran Dumpy's got to be excited.
Yep.
He was wondering about the minutes. He knew he was going to get playing time, but was wondering about the minutes for this young man. So North Carolina here will come away with its 6th win of the season against 4 losses. They've beaten the teams they're supposed to beat. And now coming up next, a couple of teams they will be underdogs against. The Florida Gators, ranked number 9, and UCLA will be in the top 17-18 after another win today.
They've got to get some big-time non-conference wins on their resume.
And both of those games, the 17th against Florida, the 21st against UCLA, and they can score. We talked about that. So once again, our final count, 93-67 North Carolina for Mike Jaminski, our entire great crew. Tom Brenneman, thanks so much for watching. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next week for a courtside Saturday double dip as we're in ACC action, both games next week. Until then, have a great night. We say so long from Chapel Hill.